Alright, so this is my third attempt to make this video, so I apologize. I did not make a video yesterday, which means I basically did not kind of give you what was going on, but I figured since today we did very similar things as we did yesterday, it was okay. That's how I reasoned with myself. So basically yesterday we went to ICDDR, which is a diarrhea research clinic. It is mainly focused on children. It's free for everyone. There used to be a 30 cent or 50 DACA registration fee, like to just kind of sign in. They got rid of that. It's incredible because of the focus, which is on children, and the fact that a lot of people from the villages go there. So people from the village are getting the treatment that they need. It's depressing in a sense that the entranceway was done up very nicely. Flat screen TVs, there's a top level being added on, but where they actually treat the patients, it was crap. It was plastic covered beds with holes in the center because people with cholera diseases are normally infected in their lower intestines, which means that their bowels are either uncontrollable or it's just difficult to run back and forth to the bathroom, so they can just kind of release their bowels right in the open, which is upsetting. The fact that it was also plastic, which means basically you just wipe it down and the next person sits there. They talk about treating about 200 to 300 patients a day and about 1,000 patients a day after like a natural disaster, like a tsunami or monsoon or something like that. It was very, very crazy to hear they don't turn out any patients. So basically, when they say 1,000 patients a day, they have tents in the back, and they just kind of put people in. Just sit, 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 sit. It was really interesting to see the difference between Western medicine and Eastern medicine. And I don't necessarily mean the medicine is in particular. I meant more like the healthcare system, so I apologize about that. It was interesting to see where the money's going to, who's it going to, and even though, I guess because of the facilities, you see the corruption even more in Eastern countries, but the corruption level is the same, and that's what's really depressing, because you'd expect honestly, and I guess this is just from a social perspective, that like, if you know your country's hurting, you would take care of your own, and you don't see that. There's a lot of very upper class Bengali people or Bangla people that do not donate to their to the lower class, to the working class, to the poor, to the poor. They don't, or you don't see that very often. Excuse me. That really upset me personally, just because it's like you have so much more than them. And I feel also, as a predominantly Islamic nation, part of it is almsgiving. That's one of the 5 pillars, and that is where you give to the poor. You give to those who are in need. So, interesting. It's very interesting. Today we went to a children's hospital, which was also interesting. It was government funded, or at least parts of it were. And then there was also individual researches going on. What was interesting is the microbiology lab was just very, very clean, very nice. And then the rest of the hospital was a little more eh. But overall, there was a high demand for nurses. There is a high demand for nurses. Definitely a high demand for doctors. And to see where the money's going in that as well was also very interesting. This one kind of focused more on air pollution, which was nice, I guess, because it also put together part of this arsenic topic. Arsenic, as we said, more or less not comes through the air, but it's the toxins that's now in the soil because of all the chemicals that are used. But then chemicals also go in the air, you know? So we looked at pneumonia, we looked at meningitis, and we looked at the way they treated the patients, where they placed the patients. They do turn down patients on the days, or they have to wait until there's a bed available, and it's a little more difficult than it is at the other hospital, but it was definitely better looking. There wasn't holes in the beds, and I think that was just, I think it's very degrading and very dehumanizing, the other hospital in that sense. this one looked like it had a little more of a head on its shoulders. And we also met a Canadian doctor, which who's actually in charge of this Anissa project, which I will tell you more about in another video. So that's kind of what we did. We also went to an NGO forum, and we talked about